In today's episode,
hello Murray River, we meet again. Alright, now hopefully this isn't going to explode in my face.
I get confused about which level I should be flying at.
Have I? No, I haven't done anything. Have I done something wrong?
I go way off track.
Well, we'll definitely end up on the east coast of Australia. The question is where? Oh, no, that's not good.
And I have more weather issues.
If you just take a quick look around, you'll notice we're now flying IFR. I think this is going to be a bit of a failure, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad.
That's good. Just got to get all the shots of me, like getting the plane ready, that kind of thing. Welcome back to Fly the Border, as I attempt to fly the 5,000 kilometre outline of the state of Victoria as accurately as possible using only traditional navigation techniques. Now, if you're new here, stop what you're doing immediately and go watch episode 1. Otherwise, a lot of what happens in this episode probably isn't going to make a lot of sense.
Mildura traffic, echoing Zulu, crossing runway 2709, Mildura.
But if you're all caught up, welcome to episode 2. A long day of flying ahead of us. There's some weather woes in front as well. And to be honest, some pretty poor navigating by me.
Okay, lined up. Mildura traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu is rolling runway 18, upwind departure, climbing 3,500, Mildura.
5,500, Mildura.
All very quiet, isn't it, in the cockpit on takeoff? Hello Murray River, we meet again. Today's flight, and in this episode we're going to face quite a few different challenges. First of all, there's obviously following the windy Murray River all the way down, well, basically to its source. Second thing is we're not going to have enough fuel to make it to our final destination today, so I have to refuel. We're going to pick a place. I think I'm going to refuel at Echuca. Thirdly, we've got controlled airspace to get through. It should be okay to get through, but...
Traffic, 12 o'clock, safe, altitude 2 miles.
Oh, got him. What are you doing coming this way at 3,500? Hang on one sec. So I'm heading easterly. That's an odd level. Have I? No, I haven't done any. Have I done something wrong? He must be descending into Mildura, so he's coming through our level. That's what's happening. But yeah, I've just checked. The way that I remember it is when you're heading odd. When you're heading in an eastern direction. I used to live in Sydney, and we used to say that the eastern suburbs are odd. Melbourne Centre, Echo Yankee Zulu, request area Q&H for Mildura area.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Melbourne Centre, good day, area Q&H 1023.
1023, thanks, Echo Yankee Zulu. Every now and again you'll see a little boat on the river, but apart from that, there's not a lot else out here now. We're in the... there's not really the name of a desert or anything here, but we're just in... doesn't have a name.
As well as showing off my impressive knowledge of Australian desert names, it was around this point I started to get a little bit distracted and made what will be the first of a few pretty big navigation cock-ups.
Oh, no, that's not good. Okay, I was just doing some fuel calculations there, just working out taking on board fuel at Echuca, and also whether we need to take on fuel one more time before getting to Bairnsdale, and I've completely missed off part of the Murray River. So when we look back at that after this trip, I'm going to do a review of the track and see how accurately I flew it. When we look back at it, I reckon that's going to be terrible.
Well, why wait until the post-flight debrief? Let's assess that mishap right now. So you can see the blue line, that's my flight path. The purple line is the border, that's what we're supposed to be following. And here, let's take this distance. We were 4.18 kilometres off track. That's not impressive at all. And you can see I just completely missed out that whole part of the border there. Not happy with that one. Yeah, we'll come to this bit down here in a second. Just ignore that for now.
Anyway, that's Swan Hill, which will forever be known as the last resting place of Steph's navigation skills. That was terrible. Terrible. The fact that it's a clear blue sky day today with very little wind and no clouds at all for this, at least for this first part of the trip. This is not a coincidence. I planned this trip knowing that there'd be 3 days of flying where I needed to have good visual flying conditions. If you've got a bit of flexibility in your flying, if you're just a private pilot like I am, then just don't be a hero. I never understand those people that decide to go flying on those marginal days. I get it if it's work or if you have a specific place that you have to be. For those people who fly for fun, I never understand the mentality of wanting to go out in like really low minimums condition, taking off just as the day is ending and you're going into the night into difficult conditions. Okay, doing that again. See, this is the problem. I'm talking again and I've lost the Murray River. That is bloody over there.
When I was recording that last part on the weather, I completely forgot that Australia in fact has more than one river, and I was following the wrong one. It was the furthest I've been off track on the trip so far, 6.05 kilometres, but I was about to do it all over again for the third time in a row, although this time I was going to do it on purpose.
So I'm going to make a bit of a conscious decision now to go off track again. And the reason is, see the Murray River over there, that goes right through that area of woodland. Which is very nice. Turbulence is starting to kick in as the day goes on, where there's not really many options to put the aircraft down if we have to, and we're only at 3,500 feet, so we're still quite low. So I'm going to take the sensible option rather than the heroic option and just skirt around for a little bit. It won't look pretty on the track, but I don't care. Echuca traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu turning final, runway 35, full stop, Echuca.
Okay. Like 25 degrees now. It is warm on the ground. It'll be warm in the air for the rest of the flight as well. We'll put that back there. Now, if you want to have a laugh at my expense, watch how I try and hot start a Cirrus. It never works first time.
Echuca traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu is rolling, runway 35, upwind departure, climbing 3,500. Echuca traffic. Alright, temperatures and pressures are good. Airspeed's alive. Got the Murray down there, but I've just got the aircraft holding itself for a second because I just need to lean out the fuel. And once again, there's a common theme throughout this trip, which is don't be a hero. Do one thing at a time and do it well. Same thing as we had when we were coming into Echuca. I've got this big area of woodland where the Murray River flows through. I'm not going to fly right over the top of that. But again, when we look back at this afterwards, when I get home, we look at the GPS track. Oh, is that still running?
Yes, sadly it was still running, and once again, why wait until we're back home to analyse exactly how far off track I flew to avoid that remote wooded area? You can see on the map, even here, it's marked with those swampy, spiky bush symbols. Now, there's no way I'd want to intentionally fly over that at the level we were at. So I'm happy with where we flew, but I'm not happy with how far I flew off track, 13.42 kilometres. That's easily the furthest I've been off track since this whole trip started.
I also took the opportunity down there at Echuca to fold my new map. Which actually should take us all the way back now. Yeah, see, all the way around here. All the way around, all the way through the snowy mountains, down to the coast, to Bairnsdale, round the bottom, which we'll do tomorrow in the next episode, and back to Melbourne again. So the rest of the trip is all on this one map. That lake up ahead is Lake Mulwala. Now the border, I think, yeah, goes right down the middle. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fly right down the middle of the lake. It's hard to tell the water levels from here though, but it looks pretty full, which is a good thing. I know we've had a lot of rain in Australia this winter. Albury Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu approaching How Long from the west. We'd like to request clearance to fly eastbound via the Murray River to Waimar Ferry, altitude at your discretion.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Albury Tower, cleared How Long, then via the river to Waimar Ferry, 3,500, report crossing the Hume Freeway.
Cleared how long Waimar Ferry, 3,500, and we'll report crossing the freeway, Echo Yankee Zulu. I don't know what that freeway is. Echo Yankee Zulu, can we just confirm that's the Riverina freeway you want us to report for?
Echo Yankee Zulu, the Hume Freeway.
Hume Freeway, Echo Yankee Zulu. Hume Freeway, got it. I've had to just resort to the iPad for a second there because I needed to zoom in. The WAC chart, the World Aeronautical Chart, isn't quite detailed enough for what I needed to do there. Alright, but this is good. It's a bit more hectic than like just flying through the country. We're at 3,500. Just gotta sort the engine out again. What do we got? We've got a wind from our right, southerly, blowing up about...
Yankee Zulu, are you familiar with the Hume Freeway, or would you prefer another reporting point?
I've got the Hume Freeway on our map now, so I'm happy to use that as the reporting point. Echo Yankee Zulu.
Roger.
River Road, and River Road, and another road. That's the Hume. That's the Hume, I recognise it. Echo Yankee Zulu, Hume Highway.
Echo Yankee Zulu, report again at 16 miles Albury, established outside Class Delta airspace.
Report again, 16 miles Albury, Echo Yankee Zulu. Alright, we need to turn up this lake here.
Echo Yankee Zulu, have you passed the Hume Wee Wall?
A firm, just passed it now, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Echo Yankee Zulu, thanks.
I need to go up this lake to the right.
This part of the trip was really pretty, flying low over the lakes through controlled airspace, but I was concentrating really hard right now, and I wasn't actually saying very much, so this is me looking out the window, concentrating hard and not really saying very much. Also, you can't really see it here, but the bigger hills in the distance were getting slowly closer and closer. Now I'm at 3,500 feet at this point, and there's a fair bit of terrain up ahead as we start to approach the snowy mountains.
Oh, could like a climb soon, but I'm still in this control zone, so I have to stay down here. What are we at? 14.5 miles, 1.5 miles time, then I can climb up.
It was only a minute or two of flying, but you can see me here checking the airspace boundaries on my iPad just to be sure I was outside of Albury's control zone.
Echo Yankee Zulu, 16 miles, leaving your control zone, and we'll climb in uncontrolled airspace 7,500. Thanks for your help.
Echo Yankee Zulu, thank you. Frequency change approved.
Echo Yankee Zulu, see ya.
Yep.
Okay, I'm actually changing my plan again because I was supposed to be going down that valley just to the left, but I need to climb up because of the terrain around here now. I'm actually going to get us up to 9,500 feet because the highest peak across the snowies is Kosciuszko, which is 7 and a bit. And if I climb to 9,500 over there, I actually climb back into Albury's airspace. So we're just cutting the corner a little bit once again. Not by much.
Not by much, you say? Well, let's take an exact look and see how far we were. 6.2 kilometres, another big deviation off the line I was supposed to be following. And to top it all, I was starting to get a little bit fatigued at this point.
Anchorman pondage. What is a pondage? What's the difference between a pond and a pondage? It's like a pond, but it's kind of pondage.
I was starting to get a little fidgety at this point after 2 long days of flying. My hat was annoying me, I was hungry, and I knew I still had another big navigation exercise ahead of me.
We need to do the second straight line of this tour around the state, and that second straight line doesn't have a very definitive starting point. I'm working my way down the valleys at the moment, and the source of the Murray River is coming up, and that's when we need to turn down to the east coast. I can only do it based on distance from Jindabyne, which I know is 13 miles, and in this aircraft that will happen quite quickly. So I'm going to turn down this valley, go down there for a couple of minutes, then I'll just need to make a turn at that point. For heading, and I wrote it down earlier, 103 degrees. I know a lot of people orientate their maps that way around. I'm a bit of a north up person when it comes to the map. North up or track up, let me know in the comments below whilst I'm trying to find where we're going to turn. When we were down on the Murray in the previous episode, You saw how wide and powerful it was. It all starts here. Look, I'm not confident that this is the exact location, but I'm going to make my turn now. So I'm going to set my heading back to 103, turn this to 103 as well, and that should set us a nice heading towards Echuca. Oh, the distance as well, so I need to mark the time. The distance is 95 miles. Here's my pencil. 40 minutes past the hour, so time 40, made our turn. Now we just need to trust our navigation skills, and hopefully we'll end up on the, well, we'll definitely end up on the east coast of Australia. The question is, where will we end up on the east coast of Australia?
And then, after flying my new heading for a little while and taking on some fluids, I noticed something quite surprising and really pleasing outside the front window.
There's a straight line ahead. There's a straight line ahead, exactly following the straight line that I think we should be following. There must be like either a fire break or for power lines or something like that, but I think it has to. It has to be running along exactly the same line that we're trying to follow right now. That's really handy.
So let's take a look at that part flying through the last bit of the snowy mountains, in particular the turn that I made onto the straight line heading down to the coast. Now you can see I turned too early. In fact, it was 4.01 kilometres too early. But in my defence, it was very hard to spot the Murray River from that height. Sorted my heading out, found the line pretty well, came off the line almost straight away, just trying to sort out my wind drift correction there, found the line again, but then here you can see I veered way off to the left, and look, in my defence, there's a good reason for that.
If you just take a quick look around, you'll notice that since I last spoke to you, we're now flying IFR. We're not actually, that's the joke, we're not flying IFR, we're still flying visual flight rules, but I'm clearly on top of the clouds. I went under the clouds and it was so bumpy. There are holes, there are gaps, I can still see the ground through the clouds. But a couple of things that have happened as a result. One is I'm way off track. So the track's going to be terrible. The straight line is not going to be a straight line. The second thing is I'm coming to the coast and I'm still on top of cloud. Anyway, long story short, I'm not where I want to be. I'm hideously off track and I'm not sure when my next turning point is going to be. Excuse me. I see Echuca. Yeah, I recognise that. That's Echuca, and I can see a break in the clouds there. Okay, border is that way, Echuca is that way. There's no question in my mind. I'm going to go for the clear sky. Ah, yeah, I can see more coastline ahead. The clouds do stop on the edge of the land. Thank goodness for physics and meteorology. Alright, 4,500 isn't going to cut it, so we'll have to go down. 2,500, because we're heading in a westerly direction now. That's alright. We'll get better views of the beaches down there anyway. Oh, actually passing around Echuca there, just around that headland, I just realised it means that now we've been to the most north-westerly and south-easterly parts of the state. Excellent. I feel beat up. That's a long flight today. Okay, time to leave the coast once again. Benzel traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu, we're just going to extend downwind and join for runway 13, Bairnsdale.
Love your video, Steph.
Thank you, mate.
I see you've been doing a big trip around Victoria.
Well, if we're not allowed out of the state, I'm going to try and go as far as I can.
Better fuel up, mate, because it's a long way around.
Okay, just in the spirit of being completely honest with you here, can you see those lines there? There's a line there and a line there in the grass. See that? Okay, so Echo Yankee Zulu is parked here, but I drove her in here, intending on turning left, drove in, got my nose wheel stuck in there, and the cast string nose wheel did that, and ended up having a bit of a brief excursion across the grass. I don't normally share the tie down and the parking the aircraft at the end of the day stuff. It's not that interesting at the end of the day, but I thought you'd like to know I just drove my plane into a ditch, literally. In the next episode.
The conditions improve.
So we're going to go to the most southern point of the Australian mainland. I'm not sure if it's a erroneous reading. Jesus, no, not liking this at all. Wrecking my track right now.
The traffic you're following showing 60 knots.
So it really is good old sea and avoid right now.